guys, March 12th, 2021. Boys and I are going to go for a little hike just around down to the Rockpile today, and I want to just ramble a little bit, talk about some stuff I thought about. We had a good one on the bikes, a lot of good comments from you guys, and I wanted to just say something about when it comes to big bikes. You know, I'm thinking about one. Most likely the one I'll get would be the SV650 because it's light and it's narrow for around here. Mostly you use it for highway stuff like that. But you got to remember, if you get a big bike here and you're going to be riding the highway, you got to get off of that highway and ride through a lot of traffic. So, all right, let me make the video, buddy. You handle the stuff with Maddie. Don't get me involved. So you got to remember you're going to do that. Around this area, very few big bikes. You see the guys will ride them on Sunday, ripping around the areas and stuff like that. Probably because there's not that much traffic. You don't see a lot of traffic here on Sundays. And you'll see them in the morning because one thing about the Philippines here that amazed me when I first got here, I think I mentioned in one of my early videos, was when you go to these churches, especially the Catholic churches, they're full. They're standing room only. The little town where we go over to, there's two of them. There's two Catholic churches because they had to build another one because there wasn't enough room for one. So, but you see a lot of guys, young guys will be riding their 1000s and all these things with the big tire and all that. One thing I hate around here, and the cops are really buckling down on it right now, is when people change the exhaust and they get this loud or they run a straight pipe. I hate that. Myself, every vehicle I ever had, if it was noisy when I got it, I made it quiet. And if it was, I like to get rid of the exhaust cans, especially on my dirt bikes. I opted for a lighter one, but it had to be quiet. I don't want to hear an exhaust. I want to be able to hear the motor. That way you can catch anything wrong in the first place. You wouldn't believe how many times I caught a loose timing chain slapping around in there because if the exhaust is loud, you're not going to hear that. And that's one thing why I like the W800, because there's no cam chain tensioner and all that baloney. I had so many bikes that I had trouble with that. So, but the other thing about these small bikes, if you go on Facebook, I think it was Facebook where I saw it, or you could Google it, I guess, but there was a dude. Of course, it was a short track. It wasn't a real long one. We're just going to go here, guys. And he was on a 125 Yamaha, and he was racing 600s and stuff. He got the jump on them immediately. And I'm sure if it was a longer track, they'd have got in front of him, and that'd been the end of it. But in the corners, he was just losing them. He was eating them for lunch. I had a Rouser 135. That's a Baja, and that dang thing, it cooked, guys. I'm telling you, that thing really cooked. It would do 90-some kilometers per hour top end. And when you were in these mountain roads, it's a thumper. A lot of people here, and I've talked to a lot of riders, they'll start riding these thumpers. They're all thumpers here mostly, and they'll ride them and they'll keep them around, 3,000 or something like that. No, you have to. Their cycle where they're producing power is extremely short. Less than 25%. So you need to keep those things wound up. And I say if you're just cruising down the lane at a leisurely speed, keep it around $5,000. And then you got the power when you need it. These little bikes cook. They do. We went on many rides on that bike. After the first tire wore out, I got a nice sticky one. You got to watch for oil in the roads here and rocks and dogs. Dogs here when you're riding a motorcycle. 2 times we saw guys hit dogs on a bike. The one time the dude was on a Honda Click, a brand new white one. It was beautiful. We were following him. I was saying, "Oh, sweetie, look, there's that Click." And we were behind him, and this dog bolted out. I don't know if it's got scared or it was after a female in heat or what he was doing. And the dude hit the dog, and down he went. And his brand new bike was all scratched up. So you got to watch for them. But I was getting by once I got the tire on that Rouser. I could do corners with the best of them on that thing. It was basically a big mountain bike, lightweight. You could flick it around in traffic when you were going through traffic. I like good mirrors. I didn't have any mirrors on my helmet then. and you could just throw the weight over the bike, stand on it, and throw the weight over so your mirrors would miss other mirrors, like on the trucks and stuff. Super easy to do. That's my recommendation if you come here. You can get a big bike if you want, and it would be nice to have a 400. I know I got one of my subscribers got a Ninja 400 for sale. Don't know where he's at yet, but that would be a cool bike if you want to get on the highway or something. And it's small, you know. It's not a super big bike. When I was here in the Philippines many years ago, my bike was a Kawi 2-cylinder 400. Loved it. It's a tiny little bike. I ran the piss out of that little thing. Great bike. But I do recommend that you get the smaller bike and cut your teeth on that here in the Philippines. Sure, you know, if you want to get on the highway, get two. You know, if you're well off enough to buy a big bike, you can buy a small one too. I'm planning on buying. I'm going to stick with the name brand. I don't go with these Ruzis and stuff. When I was at the center, I knew a lot of guys that bought them, and you didn't see them. You'd see guys on real old Jap bikes, but the Ruzis, you'd see them and they'd be talking up their brand new bike, and before long something was broke on it, or they were missing work because something happened on their way to work with those bikes. You know, the quality for the Chinese bikes is low. It is low. You get a lot of these Bristols and stuff. Some of the Indian bikes are low. It's not there. I know KTM 390 Duke is built in India, and I saw tons of those when I first started out here, and you don't see them anymore. They had problems with the back shock, where the exhaust overheated the back shock, and then your back end got rubbery. Guys were bottoming out. They'd hit a corner. They were riding them too fast. They were wrecking them. Motors were having trouble. You know, they were eking out. If you think about this, it's a 1-cylinder, 375 cc, and it had 1 horsepower less than my 1976 Honda 750. So you think about that for a minute. They were just pushing that motor to the limit. So you're not going to have good luck with that, especially in this heat and that tiny radiator on it. I looked at it. I sat on one. I thought, wow, what a cool bike. Jury's out for me on that one, and guess what? Jury came back. Death sentence, guys. It's a death sentence. Now, I do know some guys who got them that they're not having too many problems, but it's percentages with me. You know, that's why I don't gamble. You know, the percentages just aren't there on me. I know somebody who won the lottery for millions, but I also know all the rest of the people that I know who buy tickets. They spend fortunes on it, and they don't get a dime back. So it's percentages with me. So that's my my take on the bikes. I'm looking at that Yamaha. It's a YXT model. It's right. It's 49.9. I put it on that video. I finally found a thing on it. That's a good one when we get down to where we're moving. You know, there's going to need to be a lot of store trips, and we're going to go. You know, that'll be our running around thing through the traffic there. When we go out of our neighborhood, it's traffic right into the city, going to the market and all that. And during the day, there's a lot of traffic. In the evenings, it lightens up. But I want that. The only bad thing, I would like to get it and have it set up for a tricycle. But here, you from what I'm hearing from the dealer, anybody else, Filipino guys that watch this, if you know any better, or anybody from LTO, hit me back up on the comments or hit me on my messenger on Rick Shaw Philippines there. But they're telling me if I register it for a tricycle, I have to get the tricycle on pretty quickly. And if I don't register it for a tricycle, I got to wait an entire year before I can put a tricycle on it. And I was thinking, well, what if I just pay it again? Start up, and they were like, nah, LTO is going to give you a hard time on that. So, and also know when you have a bike here in the Philippines, they're going to stop you. There's checkpoints everywhere, all over the place, and they take your bike if something's wrong. When you get your ORCR, make a copy of it. Always have your papers with you. I had a little barrel on my bike that I put it right in that little barrel. A little lockable thing tucked up underneath the tank. And I kept all my stuff in there, and that way if somebody wanted to borrow it, make a copy or ORCR. You don't want the original. Somebody gets your original, they can sell your bike. So make sure you have that. It's the equivalent of a title in the U.S., guys. And make sure you got your driver's license always. There's no excuses for not having your driver's license. Also, like I'm here, I have a 13A visa. I am required to carry that with me anytime I leave. I don't carry it around the development here, but anytime I go out, you have to have that, because if they ask for it, you got to produce it. So make sure you have that. And also, if you're going to drive here, if you're just coming on visitor's visa, the new rule on the Philippines here is you can drive for like 6 months on a foreign driver's license, but you have to have your passport with you now. You didn't used to have that. You could show your ID, your driver's license from the States, and okay, good. Didn't matter how long. I did that for a couple years here. It keeps you out of a ticket when they say, give me your license. You give them your foreign one, and there's nothing they can do. They can't hit you on that license. They'll just give you a stern talking to. But if you're here now you got to have your passport, and you have to be within that 6 months. So that's something, guys, look out for. But I am highly recommending to anybody. I will eventually get a big bike just for my own thing, to jump on the highway if I'm going to shoot up here or do something, or my wife and I want to jump on the bike and get on the highway and come back this way if we have to for some reason or another. A lot of our business is handled here. Another thing that we found out, I have a debit on mine, and we can make deposits at these different banks that we have. But our one bank, PS Bank, which we just have, all we have is the savings there, where we keep stoking money in that, and then the kids. We can't make a withdrawal out of that, only at that bank. So know this, guys. This is crazy. I mean, you go in the States and there's let's say a National City Bank or Chase Bank or something like that. You can go to anyone in the country, even in Canada, and get your money out. Not here, guys. And then there's RCBC. There's different RCBCs. We were up looking at a motorcycle I was going to buy, and I went down to RCBC to go get the money out that I had for the bike, and guess what? They said, "Oh no, this is RCBC Farm Bank. You can't. You don't have an account with us." It's like, it's an RCBC. It's a big sign, just like on the car. Look, right here. Nope, sorry, can't get anything. So know that when you get here, the things are very different. You ain't in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. It's their way. So just learn to adjust to it. That's all. But I got to get a bike. This is probably the longest stretch in my entire life I didn't have a bike. Absolutely the longest. And I consider the tricycle the bike. I used to love to drive my tricycle, but when I get on a motorcycle, I get like giddy. I get all tensed up and happy. It's my psychiatrist. If I ever have any problems, I love it. I worked for a while at a very high stress job, and it was a long trip, 60 miles to and from, and I started riding the bike every day, just because in the morning I'd be all happy, and then no matter how bad the day was, dealing with these crazy, woke people, I guess, in CA, that I ride home and I'd be good to go again. I'd be all happy again. So I love the motorcycles. It's my psychiatrist, you might say. When I get a bike, I'm going to start doing the moto vlogs for you, kind of around the areas, so you can see what it looks like a little bit better. I had done some, if you want to go way back in my videos, I did some where I drove around the area here, had the camera poking out and just was talking. Some of the old videos, people are asking me on there, oh, what about this? What fruit you buy? What vegetables? Well, I have videos on that. If you go back, look at some of my market videos where we did our local market where we shop. Somebody said, oh, what are you buying? Why don't you go to a regular store and buy your food? Well, we don't really buy meats at these markets. And the vegetables, we don't buy it inside the market where they're hacking it with, a cleaver that was used to just cut a pig and all that stuff. Some people, they never look at the good sides of things. They always take it as a negative. When you talk about something, they immediately take it as negative, like that guy Hector on here. I'm just warning people about what I see. That's all I can do. I'm giving you my opinion on things. Some days I'm a little bit cranky because I've got serious bad back and in pain some days really bad. Today I don't feel too bad. I got this stomach thing seems to be, I'm in a couple days now where it's not bothering me at all. I'm getting back to my old schedule where I usually drink about a quart of water when I get up, over about a half an hour, and I get my walking in the morning. I'm real happy now because I walk along here now. The dogs, the big pack of dogs that's here, they don't even bark at me anymore. They're so used to me because I petted a couple of them. The big bruiser dogs, I just kind of duck down and so I don't wake them up, so they start barking because they're labs and they got a real loud bark. Oh, I can't reach those right now, buddy. Go play with Maddie. Okay, go play with Maddie. So that's how that goes. But I do like to walk in here now in the morning because it's peaceful and quiet. I don't need my earmuffs from all the barking dogs, and I don't have to watch out for dog poop. Street lights are few and far between here. There's one on the end over here, and way down at the far end is an old sodium lamp, so it's real yellow. And that, that's pretty much it. So if the people don't have their house lights on, and a lot of them don't, they don't leave their outside house lights on. You got to watch out for the dog pies here. The dude comes by every morning and sweeps them up, and he puts dirt on them and then sweeps them in a thing and throws them in a garbage can that's out somewhere. But when you get towards the nighttime, the people all in the mornings, there's just crap everywhere. Dog poop. It's something else. Just look out for. So anybody, that Hector guy wants to get mad at me about talking about that, I'm just telling you the way it is. It's just how it goes. So, but there were some of my thoughts today. Mainly about the bikes. I really look forward to having a bike. Went down to go get it, and now they don't have a blue one. Plus, I also want to change this, have them while I'm going to get it. I want them to have it change the sprocket. I want to put a 2-up on the front. I might not go down. I have to see there how many teeth are on the front one. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, you found some nice rocks. Okay, get the stick, Maddie. So I want to get that changed while it's there. Plus, I want some oil filters, and they got synthetic Yama lube that I'll just use theirs because that'll keep the warranty. Okay, that'll keep the warranty going, and that'll be a nice little one. It's a 4-speed, by the way, guys. Another thing, I did this in a video a long time ago. My Honda TMX, I'll never buy another one as long as I live. It just because if you're a foreigner, American that's used to the 1 down and 4 up or 5 up, you get on that TMX, it's 1 up and 4 down. So every time you get into, it's fine when you're riding it, but when you get in an emergency situation, your history takes over, your instinct takes over. And every time I was in trouble and needed power, I kicked it up a gear when I went to give it gas and just bogged it out. Luckily, we didn't get hurt, but watch when you buy a bike. Make sure you're getting the 1 down and then the 4 up. Now this Yamaha, it's 1 down, 3 up. It's a 4-speed, just like the Kawasaki Barako 175. I don't want one of those because it's almost double the price. You're paying for that name. That's the one everybody wants here. So you're not paying for any more bike other than a few cc's. You're paying for that Barako name. So watch out for that one. But definitely look out on those shifters because it gets you in trouble. It'll get you in trouble. I wound up putting a heel shifter on it, so I could do that. And I'm sure you could change linkages. I had on my Buell, you could turn the linkage thing upside down because they said race guys wanted it that way. I tried it and got rid of that real quick because it's not something that I've always done. So like I say, instinct takes over. And when I used to do track days and stuff on the Buell, I did 1 track day and my time was just ridiculously high because I kept goofing up on the gear. When you get excited going into some hairpin corner and you're trying to pass a guy, it's tough. Now the Buell, I didn't have to shift as much as those guys on the 600s and stuff, and I did really good. I did really good on that. The best track time I ever had, and one of the ones that I won, there was a fellow that went through the classes with me. His name was Ron, and he had a SV 650, mildly souped up in the motor, but it had the Gixxer front end and the suspension, and he had the exhaust changed a little bit. It's a little bit louder than I like, but not obnoxious. And he was always tail end Charlie. He was a little bit timid, smaller guy. Well, we went over to the tech dude, the suspension guy, and set the suspension because he wanted me to ride my bike. And it was the first time I won, because that bike was just something special. It was light enough. I can manhandle a bike, a big one, believe me. But this one didn't need to manhandle it. It had power aplenty where I needed it. I was keeping that thing up around, $7 grand most of the time, keeping her in low gears. I don't think I ever hit high gear on it on the track. Even open, I just wound it because I'm big. My suit also I had was a Cycle Sport, which is the Kevlar weave. I got that just so I could be cool. I have it here. I'll have to pull that out one day and show it to you guys. And that's what I wore. So there's a lot of wind drag with me. I'm a big sail, so I'd be hunched down. And another thing that I would do in those corners, I could keep my bike standing up a lot better instead of getting all the way over to the bead where I watched guys wipe out, because they lean it so far. Well, I can get my weight, my butt, a foot off the side of that motorcycle and shove the bike over and keep it from going on to the bead. So, and I could be on the gas doing that. We were taught, break into these corners and all this kind of stuff. Well, I did okay, but when I started, manhandling my bike and going to what I knew, I started doing good, coming in, at least second. A lot of times you'll get these guys on their bikes that they're going to block you, and they'll have their buddy block you too. So that's something in racing. It's kind of cutthroat. But if I got on the track, one time I got on the track, I was only a few seconds off the track record on my Buell. It's the people getting in the way. Now that track record was set with a lot of people in the way, so that was very much a superior rider than me to be able to knock 4 seconds like that. That's when you get a second on a track, you're doing really good. That's a big margin. But I don't know, I'm going on and on about bikes. I could probably do that all day. I've always been a biker. My dad was a biker. My brothers are all bikers. We just bike. Most of my friends are bikers. It's just what we do. We've always rode. Everybody's a pretty good rider. When we were younger, a little bit crazier, but generally we're all pretty good riders. I haven't had too many spills or accidents or anything, and I have had, you wouldn't believe how many different bikes I've had and ridden. It's just too numerous to count. One day I sat there and tried to do a list of all the bikes I've owned, and then I had a list of all the ones I've ridden, and it filled up a page. So, I've been there, done that on most of the bikes, and I just love them. Now the bikes I want to get here, I wouldn't even consider in the States, other than if I was looking for that dirt bike type. I wished I could get a DRZ 400 here. That would probably be the ultimate bike here in the Philippines. I like the CRF 650L. I loved that bike when I had it. I've been on the Bush Pig. I've ridden them, and they're just you manhandle those things and they'll do whatever you want. They'll do anything you want. And I was glad I got on it, because reading on the sites, I noticed when this thing was going into neutral, I told the guy that's a problem in the sending unit. He was completely unaware that bolt comes out. So we brought it over to my garage. I had all the tools. I had a beautiful lift that I had bought, and I was all set up to do motorcycle. I built a supercharged nitrous Harley, and I just did all my maintenance and stuff. So I brought it over there, and sure enough, that bolt was backed out and the sending unit was flopping around in there. That's why it was flickering. And he was like, "Oh wow, dude, you saved my bacon," because it was out of warranty. So we fixed that. We drilled the top of the bolt, and we got some little thin wire, and we wired that up so it wouldn't come back out for him, and he was just ecstatic. He was so happy that he said, if I wouldn't have been nice and let you borrow it, it'd hurt me more than you than anyone else. So, but I did ride the Bush Pig, and I really liked that. I've ridden a couple other ones. I'm seeing now that there's the CRF 300L is coming, and the Rally. I did see a 250 Rally here one day, and the young dude and his wife that were on it were really nice. He offered me to take it for a ride, and I said no, it was real trafficy. I said no, that's okay, but is it okay if I sit on it? And he said, well, yeah, I told you could take a ride. Go ahead and sit on it. And I sat on it. I thought it was pretty cool. I really liked the looks of it. I liked the feel of it. Seemed to me like the suspension was much stiffer than the standard CRF. But now they got the 300. Too bad they wouldn't let that on the highway, because they let them on the highway in the U.S. And I'm sure they'll do 100 kilometers an hour, you know. So, and a lot of times you get on the highway. I don't want to get on the highway for a long stretch. If I'm on a bike, I'll get on and get off, you know, and do like that. And but I've never had a problem with the seats. Somebody said you're an old iron butt. I never had problems with the seats. I did a quick trip one time across country. I was on a Suzuki, and they said, oh, you know, it's got a real hard seat. You're going to be an iron butt. And the only thing I stopped for was a quick nap, going entirely across the country, and gas. And didn't really eat much. I had a Boda with a little straw I had poked up out of my suit, and you know, I was just cooking. I had to get there, and I made the entire trip from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, all the way in, not all the way into LA, but the cities outside of it. It was right out of Pomona, and I made that in 47 and a half hours. And I was cooking. You had to really be careful of your speed when I was in before I hit Missouri. But once I got through Missouri, I was cruising on that bike at around 120, and just cooking. Plus it was nighttime. The cops don't seem to bug you, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go. We're getting a cloudy day. That WX weather guy I watch all the time here, you know, he said there was going to be rain. We had a nice, beautiful rain last night, just a mild one, and we got a lot of clouds moving over now. They're heading towards, this is weird, because they're heading towards our southwest, which, you know, that doesn't happen too often. But it's a beautiful breezy day. It's not too hot. You can still feel the sun through these clouds. You know, when the clouds get thin, you can still feel it. So it's kind of neat. Our rivers, you can see it wasn't a big rain because the river's not up. There's that over there across the way, how they threw the garbage over the hill. They just throw their garbage right over the fence over there. Watched them do it. All those balloons went floating down the river. It's a shame, but you see a lot of them do it. But that's the Philippines. So you guys all take care. Don't forget to pray for each other. Don't be hating on anyone. And this is Rickshaw out. And what about you, Moo? Can you do the rickshaw out for me? Well, come on over here. Put that beautiful face in the camera, buddy.
Rickshaw out.
Thank you, buddy. What about you, Maddie?
Rickshaw out.
Come on over, but get that beautiful face in here.
Rickshaw out.
Yeah, we can stay here. He's starting to lose his teeth, just like his sister did. He lost some on the bottom. Tooth Fairy's coming to town, and the front ones are going to be gone pretty quick here. He's going to be 7. Tell him how old you're going to be, Maddie.
6.
He's going to be 6 here in a week or so. So we're looking forward to that. It's pretty neat. So I'm going to let you go. Rickshaw out.